Hey everyone, welcome to Mr. U's Reviews. Today I'm reviewing M. Night Shyamalan's latest film, Old. This film follows a group of people who go to this beach and find out that they're rapidly aging, and even in a day they could have aged their whole lifetime. They must try to find a way to either get out or to survive. And with M. Night Shyamalan, you could have a big hit. He's directed films like The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Split, those films. Or you could have a major miss, because he's directed films like The Happening and The Last Airbender. And although this film isn't a major miss, it certainly isn't anything that's gonna stand out from his filmography overall, in my opinion. Now let's start out with the story of this film, because I thought that this was the best aspect of the movie. The concept and ideas displayed on screen was really thrilling and engaging. There's certain things you learn about characters that make them worse off than a normal person would be in this situation. So it just made the movie more on the edge of your seat, which was cool to see. But where the script falters was with its dialogue. Characters say things that wouldn't necessarily be said at moments in this movie, and the dialogue kind of spoon feeds explanations to the audience, even though they can figure things out on their own. And you get explanations kind of during the third act, the ending of the movie, which I didn't mind at all. But in the second act, kind of the middle of the movie, there were things that occurred that the audience kind of understood on their own, and they didn't need to be repeated through the dialogue. Now, moving on to the acting in this film, I thought it was overall decent, but what really holds it back is the line delivery. And since, lines are being said constantly throughout the film, if the line delivery is not necessarily the best, it takes you out of the movie and makes it less suspenseful. One point, let's say one actor would say a line in a weird way, kind of awkward way, as I say again, I'm using that word. And then maybe they might say the next line just fine, but then another actor would do the same thing. So it was kind of, going all around the cast, and maybe it has something to do with the dialogue itself. But that's just something that was really noticeable, in my opinion. On a side note though, I thought the casting of the actors was well done, especially, showing the kids grown up, the actors they chose to kind of play them at a certain age. It was a nice progression and they really looked like each other. So you could understand, oh, that's this kid grown up. Oh, that's the girl grown up. So, it was a good progression, good casting choices. So that's a pro. Now let's talk about the directing of this film by M. Night Shyamalan. And I bet, directing and managing a film like this must have been a bit of a challenge. But when it comes to the shots, I thought he did a weird choice. There would be an intense scene going on, and instead of fully focusing on the actors, or even just the single actor during the scene, sometimes he would zoom away and kind of cut them out of frame. And this didn't happen all the time, but it happened during multiple moments in the movie. So I just thought that that was a weird choice. So overall, the directing was pretty hit or miss for me. All in all, Old was a watchable yet pretty mediocre film. Virtually every aspect has something good and even sometimes great about it, but then there's something about each aspect that just kind of drags it down a bit. When you look at the script, the story and concept is really interesting, intriguing, thrilling. But then when you look at the dialogue, characters say things that wouldn't necessarily be said, and sometimes it just kind of spoon feeds explanations to the audience. And then when you look at the acting, each character was cast very well, the acting was decent, but what brings the acting down was the line delivery. That kind of came and went throughout the film in an awkward way. So it just kind of takes you out of the film. And then I think Shyamalan kind of managed the story well, showing it on screen and kind of directing it, showing the progression of each character as they age. But then his choices of shots throughout the film kind of bothered me a bit. He would kind of zoom away from the main subject of a scene. So that's just another thing that it's noticeable, it takes you out of the movie. But if you're interested in the concept and you think the story seems intriguing, I still say, give it a shot. You might enjoy it. But I just thought everything was, high at some point, and then it kind of went down and it went back up. It was very mixed and uneven. So I give Old a C. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, don't forget your popcorn. Until next time, from Mr. U to you, stay tuned.